In the Rye Podcast is a proud member of the Borellis Podcasters Guild.
1, 2, 3, 4. His name is Curt, a really funny guy, and this is his podcast, In the Rye. It's the In the Rye Podcast. Curt Fletcher.
Everyone, thanks for tuning in the Rye Podcast with Curt Fletcher, episode 28 today. My guest is Maverick McWilliams, who's a comedian who started out in Albuquerque, now lives in Oklahoma City. Very funny dude. Super excited to talk to him. Let's go talk to Maverick, everybody. What's up, dude?
Not much, dude. What's going on? You fucking
Not much.
ogre, you wild man.
Hell yeah, buddy. How you been?
I'm doing good, man. Just kind of hanging out here in Oklahoma City. You know, your old stomping grounds.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Do you play the bass?
Yeah.
You're just a box of mysteries, dude. You know what I mean?
I just started playing like in July. I just bought this one.
Why'd you decide to to do the bass?
Because drums are hard to carry around.
You didn't want to just do like a regular guitar? You want to just
I figured bass would probably be easier than guitar.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's pretty good. Hell yeah, man. Thanks for having me on, dude. I really appreciate it.
For sure, man. How's life treating you?
Life's treating me pretty good, man. I kind of started a small business during the pandemic, and that's going really well.
That's
Comedy's
great.
going good. I'm fucking hilarious, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I
you know
had you
about-
on, man.
Yeah, you know about that. You're a pretty funny guy, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the first time I saw you, I was like, holy shit, this guy's pretty funny for a 35-year-old. And then I found out you're 18. It's like, jeez.
Yeah, I aged terribly. I was at Bricktown Comedy Club last night, shout out. And I was talking to this comedian, and he was like, man, white people age like shit. And I was like, yeah, dude, I really wish I was black. I really wish I was fucking black sometimes. You headed out? You headed out? All right, Dad. This is kind of important. Can you get out of here? Yeah, I can tell it's really important. Okay, I'm gonna get. Yeah. Thanks, Dad. Bye. See you later. It's my dad. Anyway, so yeah, but yeah, I age like shit. I don't know what I'm going with this. This is not a good podcast so far.
No, it's great. No, I wish you were black too.
Yeah, dude.
Because I need more black comedians on my show. And
Yeah,
that would really help out the numbers. But,
we could just market it as I'm the first black comedian on your show.
yeah. Well, the first black comedian I had on my show didn't even want to do the video portion of the podcast. So people don't even know he was black. So my numbers went down right there. Everyone's like, you need to have more black people on the show. And I was like, well,
Yeah,
this guy was on the show. I promise. He's black.
he's
Even though
black.
he
He's
doesn't
black
sound
guy,
like
I
it.
promise. Yeah, man, that's crazy. It's weird about like just like this whole cancel culture right now. I feel so like it's just so weird talking to people about like, yeah, black people. You're like, oh my god, you know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was at this coffee shop in Albuquerque one time, and there's a black guy who ordered some food or whatever, and it's so funny because the lady came up to give him his order and he wasn't there, and she's like, there's two of us standing there, and she goes, hey, did you guys see where that guy just went? And I was like, what guy? And then because I was trying to see if she would say the black guy.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I didn't see a guy. And I was like, what guy are you talking about? And then the other person standing there, like, he didn't want to say the black guy either. So he was like, oh, I didn't see a guy. So I was like, yeah, I don't know who you're talking about. Like,
That'd be a really funny sketch if like you and a buddy are walking by a bank, and like this like a black guy runs out and he's like just robbed the place and he leaves, and then the bank teller comes out like, did you see that guy? But yeah, wait, which guy? And she's like,
can you describe him?
yeah, like he's like, he was tall, but like a lot of tall people in the world. What else did he look like? You know, and she's like, he was he had a gun, like Second Amendment. What else did he look like? You know, like, just try to get
Anything that stands out about the guy.
Yeah, like, can you just tell like anything about him that's like looks different than us? You know, I mean, yeah, that's funny. I'm working on a joke right now. It's probably my favorite joke that I've almost ever written, and but it hasn't been going too well because I say the word retard a lot in it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You mind if I tell you the premise?
Oh, tell me, yeah.
So like I've never like called anybody with a mental disability like a retard, but I have called a lot of like people who work at McDonald's retards. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the other day I was like, man, that sucks that you can't say those words anymore. You know, I mean, they're bad words, but they describe things really well sometimes, I think. And I was like, well, what's the definition? And I looked up the definition, and it just means like delayed or to hold back from accomplishment or something like that. And I was like, oh, that just sounds like somebody who's late all the time, like a lazy person.
Yeah.
You know? And so I was like, can you imagine walking into a business meeting and someone's like, hey guys, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Brian's a little retarded. He'll be here in about 15 minutes. You know, I just thought that was kind of a silly joke. Yeah, it hasn't been going over too well, but
oh really? Yeah, it's funny how things change like that. Like I have a joke about a midget, and like it used to always get a big laugh, but now every time I say midget, like people kind of like tighten up and they won't laugh at that part,
right?
But then they laugh at the punchline, you know?
Right. Yeah,
it's so weird how it's changed.
Yeah, man, it is really weird because I've heard like when I first started comedy 6 years ago, like there was dudes who were still saying like the N-word on stage, and I was like, and even then people were like, oh, it's funny, and then but there was a few people who were saying it on stage, and it wasn't very funny at all, you know?
Yeah,
it's weird, man. It's weird. How's this podcast going, dude? Are you doing well with it?
I don't know. I mean, I'm having a good time. So
what are these
that's all that matters.
What are these analytics all about?
I don't even know how to check most of the analytics, like on Apple Podcasts and things like that. So I have no idea.
Yeah, I've heard about the word analytics about 3 days ago, so I've been using it a lot.
Oh yeah, that's a good thing to use. Yeah. I could check like because I put it up on YouTube and stuff.
Right.
And I can see how many views I have on YouTube, but I don't know how many I get. Like, because this podcast is on so many different like platforms, you know.
Yeah.
There's Stitcher and all this other crap. Like, I have no idea how to check all that.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Where are you at now? Are you back in Albuquerque?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How's that going?
That's okay. I mean, nothing's open here, so
true.
I just stay at home and podcast and play bass and try to write jokes.
I talked to Zach Abeda quite a bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's just like so frustrated with comedy there and like how everything's still shut down and yeah, man, it's shitty. I mean, I'm pretty lucky to be here in Oklahoma City where things are open still and yeah.
I went to Tulsa in October and performed out there.
Oh yeah,
it was kind of crazy how many people weren't wearing masks out there.
Oh yeah, no, we don't do that here. No sir. Jesus is my mask.
Yeah.
That's gonna be. I was talking to somebody the other day. I was like thinking about making a T-shirt that says that, like Jesus is my mask.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That'd be fucking hilarious. Yeah.
I just wanted to make a shirt that said Jesus is in my top 8, like a MySpace shirt.
Jesus is in my top 8. God, that's fucking hilarious. The whole mask thing is weird here because you'll get people that like if you wear a mask in some places here, they'll be like, why are you wearing a mask?
Are
you gay? And you're like, whoa, no, dude, it's pre-existing conditions, dude. I don't know if I can do this. And then like you'll go into other places like without a mask and people will be like, this thing's real, right? And you're like,
yeah,
right, yes, we know it's fucking real. Get out of here. I don't give a shit. Yeah. It's weird.
I just don't like when people are wearing masks during the comedy show. That's always weird because you don't know if they're laughing or not.
Yeah, they just look like this. Like,
yeah.
Like that guy's choking. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, man, it's pretty crazy. Do you have any dates coming up or anything like that?
I got some stuff in March. Like I'm going to Birmingham in March and Comedy Festival in Paris, Texas.
Oh, the Tower City?
Yeah.
Man, I was gonna apply for that, but I didn't even think they were gonna have it,
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just so hit or miss right now, with everything.
Yeah. I had applied for that like Man, that was quite a while ago.
Yeah.
I don't remember when, but it seemed like it was probably before all the stuff shut down.
Yeah, you usually have to do like a year in advance,
Yeah.
like, for a comedy fest. I've only
Yeah.
ever done one, and I did one in Durango, Colorado.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I applied to Cloud Top in Santa Fe, and I was like, dude, I'm a fucking shoo-in, man. I'm like one of the only comedians from New Mexico that's doing shit, you know?
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I didn't get in. I was
Yeah.
fucking yeah, I was like, all right, fuck me, right? Yeah, but it is what it is. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been to a few festivals. I was supposed to be at that one in Durango, and then I had some car issues, so I didn't make it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I've been to a few. Like I went to Laughing Skull one year in Atlanta. That was a blast.
Was it cool?
Yeah. Yeah. Plus Atlanta was really cool. I'd never been there before, so
You know who I
it
heard's
was like a
out there?
full week.
Joe Casada.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, Joey Quesadilla. Yeah, man. I
yeah.
think he's out there. Have you talked to him at all or no?
Like once or twice, just see how he's doing and stuff.
Yeah, I hope he's
I'd like
doing
to
well,
have him
man. I
on here.
always really liked that guy.
Yeah, super
You
nice
know?
guy.
Yeah,
He's great.
yeah.
So you digging the Oklahoma scene over the Albuquerque scene?
Absolutely, man. They're pretty comparable, I would say. I
Yeah,
mean, they're both very small, very tight knit. The only difference is the clubs.
yeah.
There's a B room here, and what would you call the loony bin? Like a C room, like a D room?
I would probably say B room.
Okay, well then I guess Bricktown would be like an A room.
I
I
think
guess
I would call it a Bricktown and A room. They book a lot of pretty
big
well known
names.
guys. Yeah,
Yeah, so like it's pretty cool. I mean, that's really the only two big differences in the scenes is the clubs, and that's it really.
yeah. Plus you got Tulsa, which is an hour and a half away. It's got a club.
Easy, yeah. So
Dallas is only like 3 hours away.
yeah, and they got like 4 clubs in the Dallas scene, and so
Yeah.
like it's way better. I mean, I'll always like remember where I came from, man. Like, I mean, I'm forever grateful to like Kevin Baca, Nicholas Starr, those dudes. They gave me my first shows ever in New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
I think I paid $5 for $5 for 7 minutes, so pretty fucking sick. Yeah. But yeah, man, I was just, the reason I left is just because I felt like, I mean, and I'm not trying to be like cocky here or anything like that, but I felt like kind of a big fish in a small pond. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
for sure.
Like, I mean, what happened was that really pushed me to leave was one day I got messages saying like, it was like in a span of 2 days, I got booked for 3 shows that I've done like 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, I was like, dude, if I really want to do this, I mean, am I really just going to keep doing these same 5-6 shows every month, And so I was like, well, then I started sitting down. I was like, all right, well, where could I go? I can go to, I don't want to go all the way to LA because that market, I feel like, is just oversaturated. And then, New York, same deal. And then I started thinking about it. And I was like, well, my dad lives in Oklahoma City. I can probably go there, and they have a club here, club in Tulsa. Dallas is 3 hours away. Kansas City's 4 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's right in the middle of the country.
Yeah.
With all these big expanding markets, and now I don't even want to go to LA. I want to go to Austin, Texas. Is where I want to go. Yeah.
Why Austin?
It's just I feel like it's gonna be the new like spot. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of big names moving down there.
Mm-hmm.
And Rogan says he's opening a club, and there's I mean, he's already doing shows. Chappelle's already doing shows down there. Bert Kreischer's moving down there. Fucking Tom Segura. All these big names who pretty much fueled the Comedy Store.
Mm-hmm.
Are now moving down there, and I feel like Rogan's going to open up a club that's very similar to the Comedy Store. So it'll be really, I mean, it won't be easy, but it just makes more sense, like logically, to move there instead of, California.
Yeah.
Like if I moved to Austin, I'm 6 hours away from my dad, you know, and like family. And so if I need something, it's just a little bit easier that way,
Yeah, for sure. There's a bunch of clubs in Texas too. Houston's a couple hours away, San Antonio, Dallas is still nearby. So
exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Texas is a huge untapped market, in my opinion. And I think in the next year, it's really going to be kind of shaking and moving and stuff. My plan is to kind of like work my way down to Texas, a couple weekends a month, do some shows down there, and then eventually kind of work my way down to Austin.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's a good idea.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you gonna try acting again at all?
You want to hear? This is actually a pretty fun podcast story. So for your listeners, a little background on me. I was a child actor for 4 or 5 years from the time
I'll post the picture.
You don't have to post a picture. You don't have to post a picture.
I'll post just so they know.
They can Google me. So my family got a cold call one day from an acting agency. Somebody gave them like my name. They're like, hey, this kid's really funny. You should, contact him. This kid's really outgoing. So they contacted me when I was about 8. Started doing stuff with them, started taking acting classes and stuff. Built that up. Went to like an acting convention. It's called IPOP, the International Presentation of Performers. I got second out of like 1,000 kids for my monologue. And I got an agent, a manager. I moved to LA, started acting and going out for auditions. Got booked on 2 national commercials, 1 feature film and 1 student film in a span of like a year and a half. So I was doing really well. And then the housing market happened in 2008, and what made my family financially stable for me to be out there was no longer happening. My dad was building houses at the time, and it's not great. So I haven't acted since I was like probably 12 years old. So probably about 12 years, I guess. So when I moved to Oklahoma City, do you know Matt Rainey?
Yeah.
Matt Rainey was running an open mic in like this little room in the Paramount Room. Paramount runs an old kind of comedy club that kind of shut down during the pandemic. And it was really cool, man. It's called New Shit. They still have it. It's in a different location now, but what it is you go and you're only allowed to tell new jokes. And if you don't have new jokes, there's like a bucket of prompts and you have to like riff on them, and it's kind of a cool like little exercise. So I was there one night, and I had just started dating my girlfriend. It was like our first date. I was there one night, and this dude went up on stage and did fucking terrible. And Rainey kind of said like a funny little comment about it. And this dude like got up out of his chair and was about to fucking fight him. And I'm not trying to make myself look really cool here and everything, but like it's like one of the only ones who like said something. I was like, hey, no, we're not doing that shit. You get the fuck out of here. And like I walked the guy out, and it was kind of just a crazy thing that happened. I thought this dude was gonna fucking kill him. And so all this time goes by, and about 3 weeks ago, I see an open call on one of the comedian pages for a student film. And I know one of the guys who's doing it, and I messaged him and I was like, hey man, should I go out for this? And he was like, I'd be pissed if you didn't. And I'll be like, all right, cool. So I'm thinking about it, I'm mulling it over, whatever. And then I go to a show at Bricktown, and I see like the director there, this kid that's going to film school, and he's like, hey, why haven't you gone out for my movie yet? And I'm like, oh, I don't know, man. He's like, you know what it's about, right? I was like, no, not really. He goes, well, I was like, well, it's about comedians, right? He goes, no, it's about that night at New Shit where that guy almost fucking killed Rainey. And I'm like, oh wow. And he goes, yeah, dude, he's like, this role is kind of based around you. And Matt and all these guys are like, wow, that's cool. He's like, I'll tell you what, dude, the role's, it's yours if you want it. And I told him, I was like, yeah, dude, I'm a trained actor. Like I know how, and he's like, perfect, dude. He's like, send in an audition just so I can show my professor, for like, kind of just, formalities or whatever. And I'm like, all right, cool. So like, I sit down, I film this, he sends me some sides. I film this audition, send it off. And I'm like, perfect, easiest role I've ever booked. And I don't hear anything from him like for a week. And I'm like, and filming starting like this weekend. And I'm like, I'm like, fuck, dude. Well, I mean, I better get a hold of this guy. So I contact my comedian friend, and I'm like, I get his number, and I call him, and I'm like, hey, man, just kind of touching base with you. What's going on with the filming schedule? I haven't received any sides or anything like that. And he goes, oh, yeah, we're gonna go in a different direction. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, man. I've heard that before. Not a big deal. Whatever. And he goes, yeah, but do you have Matt Rainey's number? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And he goes, cool. I want Matt Rainey to play himself because he was there that night. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. So I think that's a sign from the gods that I shouldn't act anymore if I can't fucking book a role that was written for me. So
Yeah, holy shit. How bad of an actor are you?
I'm
How bad was that audition tape?
I just said the N-word a lot on it. I thought that's what they wanted, I was just
That's
saying,
what they
like,
usually want, but yeah, maybe not this one.
no, dude. And he was like, hey, I wouldn't have gone that direction. I was like, well, what else direction would you have gone?
Yeah.
Did
Did you send him the Spy Next Door by chance to let him watch that?
No, I didn't. But I told him about it like a fucking idiot. Like, I don't tell anybody about that. And I was like, he was like, you're really an actor? I'm like, yeah, dude, I have a movie on Netflix right now. You should go check it out. And he's like, oh yeah, dude, that's awesome. And yeah, but didn't book the role. So pretty pissed.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Fuck him.
Yeah. That's what I say.
You'll land some cool shit, and then you'll be like, hey man, remember that time you could have had me in your student film? You cocksucker.
Or it could go the complete opposite way. He could be like, he could take it to a film festival and it could become like the new Reservoir Dogs or something like that. But fuck.
That would suck.
Yeah. That would suck. Oh, that would suck so bad.
Yeah. Have you tried writing any scripts or anything like that?
Yeah. I've like a lot of ideas for writing scripts, but I've never sat down and done it. Like, I don't know anybody who would want to film it, So I have a lot of ideas for scripts and stuff like that, but I never really, sit down and do it. So
yeah. Well, you need to.
How about I don't?
That's fine too.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Curt.
It's your life, bro.
Curt, I want you to be my dad, because that's just like, because I can't wait. Because I just want you to be like, hey, don't do drugs. I'm like, or what? You're like, you got me. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
drugs.
I'm doing them right now.
Yeah, like
they're not so bad. Yeah, drugs.
Yeah, dude, drugs are wild. Yeah, dude. So, yeah, I don't know if I'll ever act again. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But like getting turned down for that role kind of reminded me what it's like to get rejected, and that rejection kind of sucks.
Yeah.
It's a lot of rejection.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I wrote a script a few years back with a buddy of mine. So if we ever film it, you'll have to send in auditions so I can reject you.
What's your script about?
It's these two guys that kind of get mixed up with the mob, like accidentally, because they're stupid.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah, I think it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's I don't know if we'll ever film it or not. Right. We wrote it so it'd be super cheap to film, and so who knows? Well, like we had a guy who was on board with it, who was like he works as an accountant on a bunch of films here in Albuquerque, and like we were super excited because he wanted to produce it. So we're like, holy shit, like this guy is totally down. And then we sent him some changes to the script, and then we never heard back from him.
What'd you do if you just like you're on Netflix, you're watching Netflix like a year and a half from now, and you just see your movie, you're like,
oh man, we'd be able to sue him, I'm pretty sure. So
no sir.
Yeah, because we've got it. It's all copyrighted and shit like that.
Oh, you guys, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always like have ideas for stuff like that, and then I'll pitch it to somebody, and they're like, "No, it's a shitty idea." I'm like, "Oh yeah, my bad. So sorry. Yeah.
Well, maybe you're just pitching it to the wrong people.
Maybe I don't know, man. You know what? I really like this quote by Clint Eastwood. He has a really good quote that says, he's like, "Yeah, punk," and I like that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, Clint Eastwood's got some great ones.
No, I'm just that was a joke. That was a bad
No, I
joke.
know.
Okay, cool.
I was gonna try to add on to it.
Yeah, he's got a quote about the movies he's written and directed and acted in, and he says he's like, I don't know anybody who'd ever want to watch these movies. You know, I made them because I think it'd be cool to watch them.
Yeah.
And I was like, must be fucking nice, Clint. You know, like, yeah, it must be nice to just make movies that you think, yeah, fuck it, I'll make a $6 million movie that I don't give a fuck if anybody watches. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some pretty good films.
Yeah, man, he's got some real bangers. It's awesome.
Yeah, I like him.
If you think I mean, you do like a lot of writing, right?
Yeah.
Who do you think you write like the most? Like, who do you think you kind of like, you know?
Are you talking about like stand-up wise?
I don't know about stand-up wise, just like in general wise. You know, like who do you kind of pull from in the sense of like inspiration?
I've always been inspired by Stephen Wright. Like I've always liked his style of writing.
I could tell.
Like, stand-up wise.
You definitely have a Stephen Wright vibe. And
like he's always been my favorite, but he's never like he doesn't have any like really dark material. I always liked writing some darker material. So I always liked kind of being like Stephen Wright, but like darker, you know.
Yeah.
Like a dark version of Stephen Wright.
Like Stephen Avery.
Who's that?
He's a black dude. I don't know. Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, your style. Somebody was talking about it the other day. It was Buck D was talking about your style the other day and about how you're just like so good with like quick like setup punchline, you know, and that's really hard to do like as a comic or as, you know, any type of writer is that instant gratification you get in a in a joke, but you're really really good at that.
Yeah, the only thing that so it sucks like when I'm trying to write like a script or something.
Yeah.
So like I try to write like I don't know how to write a bunch of filler, you know what I mean? Like so like when I sent in my sketches to Saturday Night Live, like they were all like really short sketches, I think. Yeah. I feel like they were probably too short for what they do.
Right.
Because I like to get to the punchline right away, you know? So yeah. I think that was the thing I struggled with the most, like writing those sketches was I would just go to like this big punchline right away.
Yeah.
Instead of like filling it in with other jokes throughout.
I think you're too funny for Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should get really political and just say really fuck the jokes, you know? Feels like that's what they've been doing lately, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing is like I don't know shit about politics or anything. Like I wouldn't know how to write jokes for any of the shit that's going on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like I probably would have been struggling like if I did get hired there.
Yeah, I mean everybody's so political nowadays, man. It's weird because like I have a friend who's like a very big like activist in the Black Lives Matter community and like stuff like that. And every time I go over to his house, it's just like nonstop. Like that's all we talk about. I'm like, dude,
yeah,
we just talk about something else, man. I've been hearing about this for a fucking year now. Like, I mean, I'm not saying these issues aren't important. I'm just saying, can we just have one day where we don't fucking talk about it? You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, man. Yeah, it feels like every time I go to like an open mic or a show, somebody's got some sort of political joke that they think, yeah, I just broke the mold, and you're like, no, you fucking didn't. Dude. Yeah, it's weird, man. It's a weird time to be a comic. It's a good time to be a comic, though. I think, you know, like somebody said, comedy's dangerous again. You know. Like one wrong joke and your fucking life is over, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is bullshit, man. It sucks. Because comedy is always that one thing where you can kind of say whatever the fuck you want as long as it's funny. You know?
Exactly.
And now you can't. It doesn't matter how funny it is. You know, if someone's offended, then you're fucked, you know?
Oh yeah, dude. It's so weird, you know? I mean, I don't know. There's just so much sensitivity going on now, and it's kind of a strange, just strange, you know, like it's weird to be trying to push that envelope, thinking that like it's weird to write a joke thinking like, oh, this could end me. This joke could be the fucking end of my career. Yeah.
Yeah, because like the last guy I had on my podcast, he was asking me like, is your writing different now with cancel culture and shit? It's like, yeah, it is. You know, like because like you want to write a joke and you're like, oh, this will be funny, but it's like, no, I can't do it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, man, I've had a lot of friends who are really fucking just so fucking funny, and they'll say something and I'm like, dude, do that on stage, and like I can't fucking say that on stage, and you're like, yeah fucking I guess you're right, man, you know. But what I've really noticed is it's not so much where I'm at that it's you have to really really be PC. It's like the coasts. It's like, you know, LA, New York, Chicago, places like that is where everyone's like, that's where people really get offended. But if you're telling like I mean, I don't really tell these jokes 'cause I've never written a good one, but like if you're telling like a rape joke in fucking McAllen, Texas, they're gonna, I mean, if it's funny, they'll fucking laugh at it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it doesn't matter how funny it is. If you tell that same joke in Chicago, they're gonna be like, oh no, can't do this. I don't want to lose my job, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, man.
Have you performed in McAllen, Texas?
No. I know that there's like a little something there.
There's a theater there, yeah. It's
have you ever done it?
Yeah, I've headlined it a few times.
Whoa, fucking! I'm so sorry. How did SNL pass up on you?
Yeah, I know, right?
Those sons of bitches, dude. Fucking awesome. Are you gonna be back in Oklahoma City anytime soon? Do you have any dates at the Bin or anything like that?
I'm gonna email the guy soon to see, because I was there about a little over a year ago. I was there in January of last year, so
yeah.
So yeah, hopefully I'll line something up.
I'll tell you what, man. I'm supposed to be getting a weekend in March, maybe somewhere around there. Like Terry hasn't gotten back to me yet about it, but but if you hit him up and I mean, you know, tell him you want me to host for you, and I'll come do it. You know,
yeah, that'd be great. That'd be a lot of fun
at a club. Yeah, man.
That'd be super cool.
How's your album doing, man?
It's pretty good. You know, people are still listening to it. People like in different countries and shit too, which is weird.
What's like the weirdest country that's listened? Like, is there like a Uganda or anything like that? Or?
No, I get a lot of people from Russia though.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like because I named my tracks like different stuff, like just weird stuff that has nothing to do with the jokes.
Yeah,
like one of them was called Saint Swithin's Day, which is like a foreign holiday. So I'm assuming that's probably where I get a lot of listens from different countries. And then one of my tracks is called The Time I Got Drunk with Barack Obama. That one gets a lot of listens just because it's, I don't know if people want to hear that story, but there is no story that goes with it. That's
like the best troll I've ever heard in my entire life. Is yeah, on your next album, name one the time I gave Hillary Clinton a facial. Just like, yeah. Or just like name one of them like I know who killed Epstein. Just see what happens. You'll become famous quick, dude.
Yeah, my weekend at Epstein Island.
Yeah, right. How I became the housekeeper at Epstein Island. Yeah. Imagine if you went to Russia and you were just like walking around and someone's like, Curt Fletcher.
Yeah, wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah, you're like, yeah, I'm Curt Fletcher. You'd be like, oh, St. Swithin's Day's favorite joke. Tell another one. And you're like,
that would be hilarious.
I got drunk with Barack Obama.
That would be pretty funny.
That would be fun, dude. Yeah.
Like famous in a different country you don't even know.
That'd be hilarious. Like I heard David Hasselhoff is huge in Germany.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. That's so weird.
You don't?
No, why is he famous in Germany?
Because he's fucking David Hasselhoff.
Okay.
You ever seen Knight Rider?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knight Rider, Baywatch. That time he got drunk and he was eating a cheeseburger.
SpongeBob movie.
Yeah, SpongeBob movie. I've seen that too. Yeah.
I love that movie.
Do you think him and Pam Anderson ever fricked?
No.
I think they did.
Pam always turned him down. Except for one night. I don't know. I don't know anything.
Oh my god. Yeah, man. Nah, dude. I miss you though, man. I miss like there's a saying that says, you never know when you're in the good old days when you're not in them anymore or some bullshit like
Yeah.
that, right? Yeah, man. I mean, if I knew then what I know now, I would have fucking asked you to take me on the fucking road with you and done something like that with you, man. But
Well, it could still happen, dude.
maybe.
Like, yeah, if I line up any other loony bin spots this year besides Oklahoma City, I'll try. Like, I think I might be able to go to Wichita this year. Could probably take you to Wichita, possibly.
Cool, man. I'd love that. That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
for sure. You
Yeah.
should be doing all the loony bins, man.
Yeah, that's what everybody tells me, man. It's kind of funny. I went to high school with this kid, and he was never like super funny.
Hmm.
He was never like super outgoing, anything like that. He was kind of like a weirdo, And I saw him post on Facebook one day, and he was at the Looney Bin Wichita, like on stage, and I was like, "Holy shit!" And I hit him up, and I was like, "Hey, man, are you a comic?" And he goes, and he's like, you can kind of tell, like, in like when he's like, "Yeah, man, why? What's up?" And I'm like, "Nothing, dude. I'm a comic." He's like, "Oh, cool. What do you do? Like open mics and stuff?" And I'm like, "No, dude. I'm passed at Bricktown Comedy Club and the Looney Bin, and I do shows all over Colorado and New Mexico, and And he was like, and his tone changed super quick.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, wait, that's awesome. Whenever you're up here, you should hit me up. We could do a show together." I'm like, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. You're kind of cunty.
Yeah. That's kind of fucked up how he was.
Yeah, a little bit, but it is what it is,
Yeah.
Yeah. Heck yeah. You just look like a really disgruntled music teacher.
I kind of am, yeah, because I'm teaching myself how to play bass, and I've only got one student, and he's kind of a dick.
Is he?
Yeah.
What is he? What's the worst? What's the thing that he does the most that you hate?
Man, he wakes up late. He's always podcasting. He's always like, "I got a podcast before I play bass." And it's like, come on, dude.
You're like, dude, do you want to be famous or not? Come on.
You want to play the goddamn bass? You want to play in a band or what?
You think you're good enough to play in a band, huh? Hey, let me ask you some comedy advice real quick. Do you mind?
Yeah.
If let's say you're booked at a club on like weekend A, and you want to do weekend B because you really like the headliner, and you know the comic who's doing that weekend, is it cool to call and ask him for a trade if the club's cool with it?
Yeah, I think so. As long as it's not like super short notice, I would think.
Right. It's like
if it's like pretty far in advance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think 2 months out is far?
That'd be fine, I think.
Cool. Yeah. There's a comic coming here. She's super fucking funny. I've always wanted to work with her. I really dig her shit. And I was, the booker was like, "Yeah, I really want you for this show," and I was like, "Fuck yeah, I would love that." And then his weekend got canceled, so they moved him to her, and then they moved me to a different weekend. So I was like, "Fuck, man, I was really looking forward to that." So yeah, I was thinking about hitting him up and being like, "Hey, man, do you mind if we do the old switcheroony?"
Yeah. It can't hurt to ask, man. I mean,
yeah,
I don't think you'll burn any bridges by doing that.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Have you talked to Matt Peterson?
Yeah, he was on my podcast the other day.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I saw that. How's he doing?
Yeah. He's doing great, man. He's doing really good.
Is he doing his photography stuff?
Oh yeah, he's doing that full time.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, he's great at it, man.
He's so good.
I remember when he was doing it with his iPhone, and then now I'm sure he's got a good camera now and stuff like that. But
yeah, I don't know what kind he's got, but yeah, he's got a pretty nice one.
Man, that's cool. I love that guy. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, one of the nicest dudes. He's one of my favorites to travel with too.
Really?
Yeah, because not only is he super funny, like he's just cool to hang out with. He's not a pain in the ass at all.
Yeah, he gave me my first out of town gig. He gave me that. He was doing a weekend. He was doing a one nighter in Taos.
Oh yeah, that brewery.
at that brewery, and
Yeah.
man, I loved it. It was a terrible show. Almost nobody was there, but fuck, I just loved hanging out with him. And you and him were really two of my big comedy like mentors. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Matt, I always like looked up to Matt a lot because he was just this dude who'd just been doing it for so long. And I was like, man,
Yeah.
I want that fucking, I want that. And
Yeah.
yeah, he's great, dude.
I actually got Matt started in comedy.
Really?
Yeah.
What's that story?
We were working together at this pizza place, and I had already been doing comedy for a few years, like hosting and stuff like that at the club and everything. And Matt was a musician, and he had talked about wanting to do stand up or whatever. So I told him about the comedy club and everything, and then I was like, yeah, come fucking down and try an open mic, man. And then before he went on stage, he's like, you have any advice? He's like, be funny. That's it.
That's you. I think I asked you for advice one time, like similar to that, and you told me that same shit. Just be funny. And I was like, thanks. And now whenever like a new comic asks me like, do you have any advice? I'm like, be funny, man. That's it.
Yeah, that's your only job.
It's literally the only thing. Just be funny and don't run the light. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or if you're being funny, maybe run the light. I don't know.
No, usually not.
Yeah.
Not if Terry's in the room.
No, Jesus, no. God. Yeah, that's the one place I will not run the light at is that fucking loony bin, man.
For sure. Yeah, I actually at Laughs was like that too back in the day. I remember sitting in the green room or not in the green room, in the office, and one of the MCs went over his time by like 4 minutes.
Holy shit.
And the owner of the club just fucking ripped him a new one, man. And like just seeing that, I was like, holy shit. I went out and bought a watch that night, like just so I never went over my time after that.
That's fucking awesome. Can you tell me some laugh stories? Because like I heard that place was fucking wild. Like,
yeah, I loved it, man. I was talking to the owner the other day. We were talking about this funny story. I'll tell you this one. So this dude, he was a customer. He was in the audience. I was working in the kitchen at the time. I wasn't performing that night, and so I'm in the kitchen and I see the club owner come in through the double doors, and it looked like he fell. Like that's all I saw. I saw him go into the ground, and I was like, oh shit. So I went over to see if he's okay, and he's on top of this guy. Like he threw this guy to the ground, and then I see him. This guy's like mouthing off to him. He's like this big old fucking. He's a pretty good sized dude. Had like a long mohawk and had like a trench coat on, and he's like just mouthing off to the owner. So the owner like grabs him by the mohawk and the trench coat, and he just opens the back door with his face. And the back door is like a heavy door. Like it's hard to open like with a face, I'd imagine. So like just the force that he used to open the door was pretty awesome. Like I didn't know what was going on before that. So what happened was I guess that guy was in the bathroom and he was like writing on the stall like with a Sharpie.
Yeah.
And the headliner was in the bathroom, and he kind of saw him like through the slit there that he was like writing on the wall there. So he went and told the club owner, and then so the club owner goes in there and he knocks on the door, and he's like, hey, why don't you just quit writing on my fucking wall? The guy's like, fuck you, like mouthing off and stuff. And then so the club owner went into the office and grabbed a gun, and he goes back in there and he shows him the gun through the little slit. He's like, why don't you come out of there? So the guy comes out and he's still mouthing off and shit. So the club owner calls the cops, and the cops that come over are a couple of his buddies. So it worked out pretty nice where the owner's like, well, the guys are like, you want to press charges against this guy or anything? And he's like, no, I'm going to sit with him in the bathroom and watch him clean this shit up. So he just sits in the bathroom. But it's so funny because that dude was like crying by the end of the night. Like,
That's fucking fantastic.
It
Dude.
was so funny though. Like this big old tough looking dude, and he's like fucking tearing up and shit. Like,
It's always those dudes who are huge pussies. You ever notice
yeah,
that?
oh yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Fuck
it's
you,
always-
man. And then
Yeah, it's always the guys who are like, "Dude, I'll fucking kill you," and they're like, "Dude, sorry." You know? You're
yeah,
like, yeah, man, it's crazy, dude. I've heard I listen to a lot of Time Suck with Dan Cummins. You ever listen to that?
I haven't. No, I need to check it out. I saw him at Laughs years ago.
Yeah. That's what I'm kind of bringing up is like he was talking about the West. Well, he has like a true crime podcast,
Okay.
and it's great, man. I love it, and it's a really cool podcast. It's a really great. He's just a really good storyteller, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just super good at that, and he was talking about the West Mesa Bone Collector.
Oh yeah.
No, he was talking about
I know what you're talking about.
yeah. Remember all those bodies that were found?
Killed all the
West Mesa?
prostitutes. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
And the
Actually, I think he
strippers.
was talking about the toy box killer. David Parker Ray, you know, the guy who had that like sex chamber in T or C.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about like Laughs, and he said something like offhanded about like, yeah, you know, you just go into the office and there'd be a gun on the table and some cocaine, and you know, it's kind of what it was, just, you know. And he was like, yeah, so I performed there a lot, and I was like, Jesus Christ, fucking.
Oh yeah, I saw that gun a lot.
What a time to be alive, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, man, that's cool. Do you ever miss that place or no?
All the time, man. Yeah, I had a blast there. Like that's where I learned to be a comic, you know. Like the club owner was also a comic, so I thought it was cool because he took me under his wing. Like he taught me a lot of shit, and he took me on the road with him all the time. And like I didn't realize how cool that was until years later when I looked back on it. I was like, fuck, he never did that with any other comedian ever.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he like for him to do that for me, like I thought that was so cool, you know. Like I knew how how much potential he saw in me, you know.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was really cool, you know.
Man, that is really cool. Do you? That's a question I was gonna ask you. Like, do you miss Laughs? Like, I mean, do you remember like? Because the only other person I know that was really going to Laughs back in the day was Kevin Kennedy.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think he was just like open micer there, right?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about Kevin?
He's a nice dude.
Is he?
Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always been super nice to me.
He's always been super nice to me too, but I don't know, man. That dude's I just hear sketchy things about him all the time, and I'm like,
yeah, I do too, man. That's yeah. That's why I don't work for him anymore. You know, I used to do shows for him all the time, and then, you know, I heard a lot of stuff, you know, about him. So I just,
yeah,
I don't work for him anymore.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you don't.
I don't need to, you know.
Yeah, pieces of shit like me still need to sometimes, but
yeah, that's the shitty thing, man. It's like there aren't very many gigs in Albuquerque, so, you know, unfortunately, you do have to work for some people like that, you know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like I've done shows for, you know, like when I'll be talking to new comics, and you know, they're like kind of complaining a little bit. Some of them might, you know, about like, oh, I only got paid $20 for this show, or I only did this. I was like, dude, I've traveled 3 hours to do 15 minutes for $5. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Like,
or when you do a comedy festival, man, you're not getting paid at all. Like you're spending a shit ton of money to be there, you know? And
yeah, it's a pretty much a working vacation.
Yeah.
That you pay for, you know?
Uh-huh.
But like, I don't know, man. There's still a way you should treat people, and there's still a way you should do business. And especially like, I think he knows the fact that there's not a lot of people doing shows in New Mexico. So he's like, oh, I can be a dickhead to people, or oh, I can treat people however the fuck I want.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not that's not a good way to do business. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because at the end of the day, it's a business is what this is,
Yeah, it's like like be nice to people, like make people want to work for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
That way you'll get the best comics.
Right.
You'll always have the
100%.
best show. Like I ran shows, I had a couple of different venues I've ran in Albuquerque, and like it seemed like people loved working for me.
Yeah.
And like
Like,
I always had a professional show. Always keep it, an hour and a half to 2 hours or whatever, and just always try to be professional and make people want to perform for you. Like
right. I mean, I think me and Zach Abeda have done well, it's mostly Zach, if I'm being honest. Like, I've done a really good job with Canteen Brew
oh
House
yeah,
when that was kind of going on, like pre-pandemic. I mean, in my opinion, that was the best room in New Mexico.
yeah,
For sure. I mean, it was a free show where you got
mm-hmm.
really good comics, and I mean, it was awesome. It was great. We had dudes like you, we had guys like Buck D and all these stuff, and it's insane to me what Zach turned that into. I mean, because it was really Zach's show, and I kind of helped him with the booking, and I kind of did it with him sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, what he turned that show into is amazing, and the business mentality that guy has is really unreal, honestly. Yeah,
I love Zach, man. I've met up with him a couple times, like for coffee and stuff, and talked about comedy with him, and like I love it because he's so motivated. Like it's hard to find people like that in a scene like this because like there's no clubs or anything like that. So for me to see guys like him and you like just always getting after it and writing new stuff and like just wanting to get better, like it's cool. Like that's why I left before, like years ago, is because there was no scene here. Like after Laughs closed, and there was no motivation to do anything because I'd already done everything. Like and there was nothing else to do, so I had to get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're kind of in the same boat on that. Is because same deal. Is like I was tired of doing the same old shows, and I was like, man, if I want to do this, if I want to be a comedian full time and make a living at it, I have to get the fuck out of here. And Zach, feels the same way, and me and him are actually moving to Austin together.
Cool.
In a year, so we're starting to plan, and we're starting to kind of look at how much money we need to save and kind of what area of Austin we want to live in and things like that. And the only reason I want to go with him is because I've never met anybody who has that fucking work ethic. I mean, he's been doing it for about 6 months less than me, and he's a fucking crusher, dude. He's writes great. He's got a great writing style. He's got a lot of energy on stage. And the cool thing about him is like he's like, bro, I'm going to Dallas. No, I'm going to Denver this weekend. I'm going to Durango. And he's just always on the move. And man, I love that about him. And I love that he's just, 5 years in and he's still that motivated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big thing with comedy is networking, and it's hard to network in Albuquerque because there's not a lot of professional comics that come through here. So like that's like I got lucky working at Laughs because I worked with all these great headliners all the time,
Right.
And so that's how I got in with the Looney Bins is I was working with a guy named Jason Russell. He was going to Little Rock the next week. Is like, hey, do you mind taking my tape with you so I could check it out? And he's like, oh, definitely. He's like, I'll throw in a good word for you. I was like, cool. And he did that for me, and I was able to get in to audition at the Looney Bins and did well. And they started booking me like as an MC for a couple of years, and I got bumped up. And I've been working the Looney Bins since probably 2007, I think.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's great.
Yeah.
Man. I love the Looney Bin because it's really like my home club. First professional club I've ever done comedy in. When I first moved here, like fucking clockwork, I would go every other Wednesday and things like that. And even when I started school, like for my apprenticeship program, I I made them. I was like, hey, I need my class schedule to be Tuesday, Thursday, so I can have Monday, Wednesday off.
Yeah.
And like, and I love it there. But with this new club coming in, there's just more potential at this new club to go farther. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And so so like, no disrespect to the Looney Bin, I love them so much there, but I only ever want to MC there because once you start featuring there, you have to sign that contract where you can't feature at both clubs.
Yeah.
So it's like a non-compete, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but if they change that, I would love to. I would love to feature at the Looney Bin and Bricktown.
Yeah.
I hate to do this, man, but I gotta go pretty soon. But
no, yeah, I mean, we've already hit 54 minutes. I usually stop around 40, 45.
Okay.
So.
But
you got anything to promote? Oh yeah, for sure.
Sorry, man. If I'm trying to get into like a feature spot at a club, what's the best avenue to go if you already have like a good rapport with that club?
Like it's a club you've been working already?
Yes.
Okay. Because normally what you need to do is like have a 30-minute feature set at a club to send out.
Right.
So when you're trying to get bumped up, I would show them that you've got enough material. Like say, so like if you're hosting one weekend and you're doing Friday and Saturday, you've got 2 shows both nights. I would try and do 2 separate shows. Like Saturday, do 2 separate shows. What I used to always do is like, so at Laughs, Saturday's 7:00 show is usually an older crowd. So they always liked cleaner material. The late show would always like dirtier material. So I would do a clean set for the 7:00 show and then do all my dirty stuff at the late show.
Right.
But I mean, you don't have to do it like that, but it helped me, and it helped, I think, where they saw that I had 2 different sets, so they knew that I could fill the time doing a feature spot.
Right. Okay. Awesome, man. Yeah, dude. That's my next goal is to start featuring here in in Oklahoma City, and
sure.
maybe because I mean, if I can feature here in Oklahoma City, I could be kind of like a shoe-in for an MC spot at like Hyenas or the Improv or something like that.
Yeah. For sure.
So so if I can show them that I can feature here, I mean, it'd be a lot easier for me to get MC positions there.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you need any help with anything, always reach out, man.
Yeah, I will, man. Same with you, man. If you're ever coming through and you need a place to stay or you just want to go get some Waffle House, fucking hit me up, man. I'm
Hell
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking good old Waffle House, dude.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, but no. Kurt, I appreciate this, man, and thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. Thanks for being on. Promote your new business that you're telling me about.
Oh, you know what? Maverick McWilliams on Instagram, and if I make custom leather stuff. So if you need like a belt, wallet, holster, anything like that, hit me up and I'll be glad to make you guys something. Go check out Yukon Cornelius Sings the Blues. It's one of my favorite comedy albums right now. You guys might dig it. So yeah, did I get the name right?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, fucking dude. I tell people about it all the time. I think that's one of the greatest fucking comedy albums of all time. Just by the name, just from the name, it's fucking.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, but Kurt, I love you, man. If you ever
love you too, pal. Absolutely, you too.
Yeah, man, and I'd love to be on again. And if I start a podcast, you're on it.
Sweet. I appreciate it, man.
Love you.
Love you too, pal.
Bye.
Take care.
See ya.
All right, that was a lot of fun talking to Maverick, catching up with him. Yeah, not much going on. No shows booked in February, anything like that. Not really a lot to talk about. Thanks for tuning in. Got the website intherightpodcast.com. Check out all the episodes on there. Also have funnyfletcher.com/store if you want to order any shirts or anything, stickers. I think that's all you got, shirts and stickers. I don't know. But if you order anything off there, you can use In the Right Podcast for the promo code. That's In the Right Podcast with no spaces, all capitals. You get 10% off your order, which is a pretty sweet deal. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks to John Singleton for the outro music from Anesthesia, of course. Go check those guys out. And Jarrett Reddick got the intro music from Bowling for Soup. Thank you so much for doing that. Hope you guys enjoy it. So check out Anesthesia, check out Bowling for Soup. Thanks, guys.